Today on the Nerdiest Podcast, in light of recent news, we will be doing a deep dive into the all-digital future. Is physical media dead for movies and games? Well, we don't know, but let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest Podcast, a show where nerds talk about nerdy things. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Jackson Glass, and today we are doing a deep dive on the encroaching digital future. Is it here? Is it coming? Yes. But what does that mean? What is the implications of that? And how did we get here? All today, games and movies, both sides. But before I do that, I'd like to introduce, I'm here with my ride or die, Mr. Nick Barrett, who is the host of the most, who is always sleep deprived. Thank you for being here. How are you this week?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. If you're watching the video, you'll see that decked out in some red, white, and blue, as it is 4th of July weekend. Happy 250 to America, baby. You love to see it.
Baby
it's
country.
Off screen. Because I didn't want to wear it for the episode because I didn't think it would look good. But I bought like a $5 cape on Amazon. That's just the American flag. So I'm going to wear that tomorrow, which is pretty sick. So how have I been? I've been good. It's been a hot minute since we last recorded. I mentioned on the Jeopardy episode that Ocarina of Time remake may be true with a Nintendo Direct. And it was. So that's pretty hype. Also, we got a new Xenoblade game, so that's pretty sick. Star Fox has come out. I've been playing the heck out of that. You'd be so proud of me. I finally finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. So that was another good game. What else? I think I'm been on a video game kick lately.
Good.
Just playing a lot of games. Been going back and forth with Star Fox and what was that other? Oh, Wind Waker. Because I posted on Twitter my ranking of all the different Zelda games that I've played, and I kid you not, 90% of the comments were just, "You need to play Wind Waker. You need to play Wind Waker. It's so good. You should play Wind Waker." So I was like, "All right, fine." So I booted up GameCube on NSO on Switch 2, and I said, "All right, starting a Wind Waker playthrough." So I'm going through that. Those are my two games right now, and I'm carrying on with my goal to beat all of the games that I buy this year, which honestly has kind of deterred me from buying any new games because I'm good. I won't have time. Like I just got Kirby and the Forgotten Land for Switch 2 because it was on sale and it was like $20 off, and I was like, "Oh, that's a steal." That's basically like, retail price for the Switch 1 including the extra stuff. And then I put it on the list of like games that I have to beat this year, and I'm like, "Oh, wait."
You're like, this is kind of becoming a lot.
Wait, I still have a Xenoblade game I need to get through. Hold on.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I've been on a gaming kick more so than like watching anything.
That's good.
I finished the C.S. Lewis book. I don't know if I talked about that on the last episode.
I don't think you did. You were talking about that other audiobook that you were...
Yeah. I guess since that episode, started and finished C.S. Lewis's Out of the Silent Planet, which is the first book in the space trilogy. So I'm waiting for the library app to give me access to the second book. I think I have another 2 weeks on the wait list for that. So,
Cringe.
But other than that, that's all I got. It's been pretty chill. I'm not gonna lie.
That's wonderful.
So, how have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm good. I also been very chill, not doing a whole lot. Haven't really watched a lot of movies. I think the last movie I went and saw was Toy Story 5. And
shout out the after show.
Go watch
our review.
Go watch our review. Watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off last week. Great film. Other than that, I've also been kind of on a gaming kick. I think post-grad has treated me well for my gaming. And our big thing right now is I got a group of guys from work and like some of like their friends, but we have some mutual. So basically we took like 3 friend circles and all gathered them together on one Minecraft world.
Oh, that's sick.
And it's so much fun. I'm kind of in that, I don't know what it is about Minecraft. Something about it I obsess over it like no other game. There's not been another game that has consumed my every thought. Like, it's so bizarre how this morning I was like, when am I playing Minecraft today? Like, that was just like in my mind. But, you know, multiplayer Minecraft is a little complicated because the Java release, if you're not following, they announced like we're doing peer-to-peer connection, which means you don't need a realm to connect online anymore.
Every other version of Minecraft.
Right. And then they were like, hey, we're doing it. And then released it and we're like, oh no, it's horrible. And they immediately pulled it off the shelf and were like, hey, we're going to keep working on this. So for now, it doesn't exist. So we are playing on Bedrock. And so I have, in fact, been playing Minecraft on the Nintendo Switch.
Yikes. I'm so
OLED. Sorry. And I thought that. I was like, oh gosh, how is this going to run? I don't know if they've optimized it, they've updated, they've like whatever. It runs like an Xbox would. Like a mid-tier Xbox. It's a little like wobbly sometimes, but as long as you have good internet, it can run. It can play. So that's been good. And what I realized as a lifelong Java player, I played some Bedrock on the Xbox and whatever throughout time, but as like a primary Java Minecraft player, what I realize now is the appeal of Bedrock in 2026. The appeal of playing Minecraft Bedrock in 2026 is it is currently the purest form of the game. Because in Java, they had all these opportunities to add all these other things. They, just keep adding to Minecraft to where it doesn't feel like Minecraft anymore. But with the restriction that Bedrock offers being on consoles, they can't do that. So literally, you don't even have like a secondary hand on Bedrock. And there's no... little soundbar. I don't think you do.
I thought they added that, but only for like specific items, like torches and maps, which is really the only that and shields.
Right.
Full podcast episode about Minecraft. When?
No, literally.
That feels like something we would have done in like sub episode 25.
No, literally. We're just like, what are we just talking about Minecraft? Not even like an angle. We were just like, let's just talk about Minecraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says you can only equip specific items like shields, totems, totems of undying, arrows, and maps. You cannot place general blocks, torches, or tools in an offhand slot. Which torches is the only thing I've ever used my offhand for. So to be mining with Joy-Cons, move over to the next hotbar slot, place a torch, move back to the next hotbar slot for my pickaxe, and keep mining. It's like I'm 10 years old again. Like I was like, this is crazy because this was before they basically all of the blocks and the features that you want without the random quality of life stuff that makes it, that almost sanitized the game a little too much, that made it more modern. So I don't know. It is a much more enjoyable experience than I was expecting. I was dreading going to Bedrock, and now I'm like, okay, I see the appeal. I really, really have enjoyed it. So,
well, we'll have to start a world when we when the Switch 2 version comes out. I refuse to play it until the Switch 2 version comes out because I booted up Minecraft on Switch 2 just to see how like the Switch 1 version ran. And I mean, it was all right, but it wasn't like, because the backwards compatible the game's working like that is entirely contingent on the developer leaving it like unlocked for frame rate and that kind of stuff and not putting caps on it, which a lot of them did because of the hardware of the Switch.
Right.
So a couple of them went back, like all the Hyrule Warriors games are unlocked.
That's
so
good.
Now on Switch 2 they go all the way up to 60. I think Persona 5 is a similar vein, but like there are some other games that went back and updated that. But I don't think Minecraft was one of them because they were doing a paid like
they wanted the paid
Switch
upgrade.
2 version.
And I might be upgrading my Xbox soon. Who's to say?
Why?
Well, just because Those are mainly the games that I'm playing.
Why?
If I'm playing Fortnite, if I'm playing Minecraft, if I'm playing, Fortnite, Minecraft. I want to get that new Star Wars game. Then when that comes out,
okay, I'm like trying not to judge, but at the same time, like,
okay, so
an Xbox, really?
No, but you could upgrade to a like pretty good Xbox for like $200.
I guess so.
Not $700 to a new.
I just
There's
feel like
a difference.
Xbox doesn't have a very bright future ahead of them.
I mean, it might not, but at least if I can get one with a disc drive now, then I could play all of the games that we own at my parents' house.
That's
and
true.
At least play through that.
That's true.
What? Disc drive? Xbox? What are you talking about? Do they not have disc drives anymore? Hold on, we're about to get into it. But before we do that,
Good
we'd just like to
transition.
say thank you for listening to this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. If you got in here, make sure you're following us on Instagram, subscribed on YouTube with the links down in the description. All our personal stuff is in there too if you like us. If you're to subscribe, because that's the best way to support the show. But if that's just not enough, if you're foaming at the mouth for the Nerdiest Podcast, like I am every day, you could become a YouTube member with the link down below. For $5 a month, you get early access to episodes and a monthly after show episode, a bonus episode every month for only $5 a month. And big news also is we have some new YouTube members that we'd love to shout out.
Sure do. We sure do.
Biggest shout out to Retroplaid guy, day one, big day one guy. Love that guy. But then some of our new YouTube members, welcome to the family. Not Zeke Shrine, thank you for being here. Andy A, thank you for being here. And Jessica Carnes, big thank you for helping us keep the lights on for this show. But also, new development, oh my gosh, you can also listen to the Nerdiest After Show on Apple Podcasts now. You can become an Apple Podcast subscriber for $5 a month to get the Nerdiest After Show. But I'm on Spotify, and doesn't Spotify have memberships? Here's the thing. Spotify only lets you run memberships if you distribute through them. And we distributed through Spotify for a long time, and it was a terrible experience. So I'm so sorry. I'd just like to say we want you to have it, but Spotify said no. What if you said...
Go petition Spotify to change their thing.
Yes.
Because that's on them.
Or just go to YouTube.
True.
You know what? So anyway, big shout out. If you can't support financially, you can support with a subscribe on YouTube down below.
And that's free.
And that's free. So
until YouTube randomly decides to make it paid.
To
subscribe to channels, you need to be a part of YouTube Premium.
No. Yikes.
Which is crazy because I wouldn't put it past them.
I would not put it past them either. At what point can we start getting physical releases of YouTube videos? This is
I was really thinking about, because I texted you last night and I was like, can we do a spoof post of the PlayStation thing? And I was like, how would we do that though? Like, we can't mock being all digital because we are all digital as like a podcast.
Right.
So I was like, what if we just made a joke that all episodes of the podcast will be released on micro SD cards going forward?
They will be put on 4chan from here on out, where
We're going to put them on Wattpad. We're going to take the transcription and upload them to Wattpad.
The Nerdiest Podcast is cut a deal, and we are exclusively on GitHub. You can download our GitHub repository, and you too can decrypt the Nerdiest Podcast.
Every episode will now exclusively be on Rumble.
So here's
the platform where content goes to die.
Dear Lord. Here's the thing. Here's my question though. This is like a genuine question. So as YouTube continues to evolve, and you have stuff like the Scott the Woz Wii U series, and you have these big 2-hour Defunctland documentaries,
right?
What's the point where those channels open not physical stores, but stores for physical media? And it's like, oh, you want the Defunctland, full series?
Right. At what point do they start selling them as some form of physical media? I see what you're saying. I think that'd be cool. Down.
So yeah, physical media. It is physical and it is media. What is physical media? It's physical. Sorry. And I'm here to give you a little bit of history. We're going to go through a little bit of movie news first because there's a lot more gaming news. And if you're keeping up with the news, you know physical games are kind of getting attacked by Fortune 500 companies at the moment. But we're also not going to talk. We're also not going to pretend like movies and shows are not also being attacked. So, broad retrospective. There are so many more tiny details you could go into here. We just don't have the time or the expertise. There's much smarter people to do that. But I think I have a pretty good category here. So buckle up. If you're driving, stay buckled. If you're at work, just lock in to the podcast, not work. Let's do this. So, a little bit of history. This is where it starts. In the early 1970s, there is no at-home viewing experience. There was no watching movies at home. There was TV, and it was broadcast TV. So you would wait for a theater release, and if you wanted to see it again, you would have to hope it aired on television. So you could go see a movie at the theater, but it would, you probably wouldn't see it again. Until 1975, when Sony, who was,
Oh my gosh, there's no way.
Yeah.
So, oh, dude, this is gonna come full circle.
Yeah, Sony started the at-home video revolution with Betamax tapes in 1975, but they were just stomped like a year later, because Betamax tapes came out in 1975 and JVC released the VHS tape in 1976. A year later, Betamax tapes are just cooked. So, although Betamax tapes generally produced better image quality, VHS won because it had a longer recording time, lower manufacturing cost, wider licenses, and more support from rental stores. And if you know anything about communication law, which I took a whole class on in college, it was horrible. If you know anything about communication law, you know that this just, I don't even know what to call it. Just like this big case from 1984. So basically, think about this, like VHS in 1975, it's slowly getting integrated into homes over the next decade. Like stores are opening up, Blockbuster, your local rental video store, it's becoming a thing. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, basically what happened was movie distributors were starting to get upset because you could use a VHS tape to record their movie off TV and watch it whenever you wanted. And that was a copyright violation because that was them pirating your movie. And that just blows my mind that this was what piracy looked like in 1983. 1984, in landmark case Sony Corp of America versus Universal City Studios, ruled that recording television programming for personal use, or known as time shifting, was legal. They basically ruled, like, if it's on TV, it's public, and recording it to watch back later is completely legal. That's not on us. Because basically the studios were beating at Sony saying, hey, your product is basically letting people steal our movies. And they were like, hey, that's not our fault. That's not us. Like, that is entirely in the consumer's hands. And the court ruled that it was completely legal. And this was this decision effectively legitimized consumer ownership of VHS and accelerated the home video market like crazy. Because this was when this stuff hit the news and people went, oh shoot, there's a huge market for VHS and home viewing. This is when we started to really ramp up in that kind of thing. This means that owning movies started to become the norm. It was just you had your VHS collection at home and you popped your favorite movie in. Video rental stores were alive and well, and movie night became a cultural ritual. This is where movie night came from, was the 80s and 90s era of family movie night, putting in a VHS tape. And this model stayed the same for a very long time, actually. It was just video rental. We used VHS. Betamax slowly died out because it was obsolete. And then you just went to the video rental store. For 15 years, this was what we did. But by the late 1990s, thousands of rental stores existed. Studios earned enormous post-theatrical revenue, and some films even became profitable only through VHS sales. So if a movie flopped in the movie theater, it had a second life in the video store. And some of those movies that flopped killed at the video store. So home video became Hollywood's second revenue after theaters. It gave it a second life, basically. And direct-to-video films also emerged as an entirely new business model. Think about Disney straight to VHS.
Oh, yeah, baby.
We are so back. We've always been doing the Disney Plus thing. It's just looked a little different. It's like, this is how we get Lion King 1.5. This is how we get
The Little Mermaid 2.
The Little Mermaid 2. This is how we get Mulan, and someday somebody comment that they want this so that we can justify doing it. I want to do this ginormous episode that just is 3 hours long, where we watch every Disney straight to DVD sequel.
I'm in.
And rank them.
Sold. Episode 200.
Somebody please say they want this, because I want to watch all of them and then be like, which ones are worth watching and which ones are bad, because some of them are not half bad. Anyway, so home video became Hollywood's second revenue, direct-to-video. But also at the same time, in the late 90s, a new fighter approaches, known as DVDs. So what DVDs offered was a better picture quality, digital sound, no rewinding, durability, interactive menus, deleted scenes, behind-the-scene commentaries, all these special features, they were called. But also keep in mind, when you rented a VHS tape, it was kind of a chore, because you would have to go and rewind it before you brought it back. It was a thing.
Be kind and rewind.
Exactly.
Is what my mom said it used to be.
So these special features, this is where I think this just blows my mind. I didn't really, until researching for this, I didn't think about this. DVDs in the late 90s having special features was what fostered film appreciation for that generation, because no one really knew how movies were made before. They could make an educated guess, but to see a real peek behind the curtain was so special for them. So that fostered film appreciation, and studios discovered that consumers were willing to repurchase movies they already bought on VHS, which is freaking hilarious, because
the masterful art of double dipping.
No, literally. Thank you. Good night. We are the masterful art of double dipping. So this DVD era turned into one of the most profitable periods in Hollywood history, because they were double dipping in VHS and DVD. People were starting to collect, and also keep in mind, this is when huge blockbuster movies were constantly coming out. This was a big deal. Super profitable. Nothing can stop us now, as Mickey and Minnie would say. This golden era was assisted by the introduction of the Blu-ray player. When the early 2000s, I believe 2006, was when Blu-rays existed. They came into the scene, and it was like, hey, we're not just DVDs, cool. Jump leaps ahead. We're getting Blu-rays, and you need the special player. But now, your Xbox has one, your PlayStation has one. You're starting to get so integrated in the Blu-ray ecosystem that you're like, okay, this is great.
Fun fact, not to interrupt.
No,
that's actually one of the reasons. I think it was the PS3 sold so well, because it was a Blu-ray player.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, I can play my games and my movies through this one thing, which is something that has continued even to this generation with PS5 and Xbox. A little less because of some stuff we'll get into later, but my Xbox One has a Blu-ray player on it, and that was my Blu-ray player for the longest time till the disc drive went out. So,
and that's the thing. I feel like the era of DVD players is kind of over. You used to have a standalone DVD player that was just for DVDs, and my parents still have one that they use. It's kind of hilarious. I need to get a new one, because I don't want to just use my Xbox.
DVD players are so expensive.
They're so expensive, and for why?
I thought that this is one of those things, how TVs are a dime a dozen now.
Yeah,
you can get a pretty decent 32-inch flat screen Vizio for $50.
Yeah,
any random day. I thought DVD players would be the same, but actually because the demand went down, the supply also went down, so they charge more for the little supply that they do have. I'm like,
Stupid.
I really should have paid attention in economics class, because that makes sense. But at the same time, I'm like, but a Blu-ray player should not be $2,000. Like a 4K Blu-ray player should not be $2,000. Like, what are you on about?
Yeah, I could get a Steam machine for that. So yeah, Blu-rays, and this is like, what could dethrone Hollywood? I mean, we're getting DVDs and Blu-rays, and VHS is kind of in and out. Like, we still have our VHS. I don't really have a player anymore, whatever. This is great. I'm calling up Netflix. I'm on my computer like, hey, send me this movie in the mail. And, da-da-da-da. 2007 comes around. Netflix launches streaming. I was unaware that streaming started so soon. I did not realize that we've had streaming services since 2007.
Oh, yeah.
That blew me away. It looked very different than what we know now. But 2007, Netflix launched streaming, which shifted the consumer mindset and did irreversible damage to this country. We went from what movie should I buy to what's already included. Basically, removed the luxury of film, and it became an expectation. So it was a psychological shift that nuked the industry. And this was not the end of physical media. Fast forward, in fact, in 2014, DVD and Blu-ray revenue hit $10 billion.
That's crazy to me.
12 years ago, it hit $10 billion. Everyone expected Blu-ray to trump DVD like DVD did to VHS, but it never happened. Like, DVDs should not even exist, but you could go to Goodwill and get a DVD that's not even close to a Blu-ray now. And 2012 to 2014 was the boom of smart TVs. Roku, Chromecast, Fire Stick, gaming consoles had Prime Video, Hulu Plus, and Netflix. Those were kind of the big three. And so even the gaming consoles were in on it. Like, they knew that this was the move. So it was like, you don't need your DVD player. You don't need your DVDs. You don't, whatever.
And to add to that, I feel like DVD players tried to keep up by putting those apps in. Because, like, the DVD player I have, it's got a sticker on the front. And I've showed you, it's got, like, the Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video, like, so that you can access those through the DVD player. So, like, they were still trying to maintain the relevance, but I don't think it ever really caught on, because it's like, well, I could have all of those and a Blu-ray player and be able to play Xbox games.
Right.
Like, so
it was bad. And this was when Hollywood was losing their safety net. They suddenly lost that second chance to make their money back on a film. And it was interesting because Matt Damon explained in a recent Hot Ones interview, phenomenal clip, you should go watch the whole thing. But basically, the interview asked him, they were like, as someone that has worked intricately behind the scenes on movies for 30 years, the sentiment we're always hearing is, I'm scrolling, streaming for hours, and nothing feels like there's a movie for me. Nothing feels like it's made for me. What do you say to that? And he went into his whole history where he said, the movies we used to make, you could afford not to make all your money at the box office because having a DVD release was like opening the movie a second time, and that changes the movies we make. So basically he was saying that he really liked this idea that he had for a movie, and it was this like indie like love story, whatever. And he was like, it's a movie that would have been made 20 years ago, but because studios need upfront investment because they know that it might not come back in the box office. So basically, you should go watch the whole interview. He was like, the studio told me, we will fund half of the movie. He said it was $100 million budget, and they said, we'll fund half of it, but the other half comes out of your pocket because we don't believe it's going to do well at the box office. And basically, by removing the DVD side of that business model, it's entirely dependent on the movie theater, which is what leads us now to infinite remakes, sequels, just nonsense. Nothing feels original anymore because it doesn't have a safety net to make money anymore. So like Moana 2 is going to kill it at the movie theater because it's Moana 2. But they wouldn't maybe they would be more inclined to do something more original if it wasn't, let's throw this really out there idea to theaters, and if it doesn't work, it could come back in a DVD sale. Basically, the people that say, I'll just wait for it on Disney Plus, those people used to have to pay like $20 for the movie. But now the streaming model is not working because their subscribers are just paying monthly, and they have to constantly dish out this content that's getting consumed at a rate we've never seen before. So for years, Netflix was more valuable than an actual studio, and everyone was more than happy to license their movies there until 2019.
Oh boy.
Where Disney Plus launches.
Yeah, this is where everything went downhill.
Golly, dude. They created the streaming war single-handedly, I believe that, just in time for COVID to shut the world down. So movie theaters closed, straight to streaming became the business model because customers were flooding to this service. It seemed like it was the perfect idea. Like, I don't have to pay Netflix to license my movie because I have all the licensing. I'll just put it out myself. Did not work. Not working. Fast forward to now, Disney has almost completely pulled out of the physical market. Not entirely, but they're just not near the rate that they were doing. They're stopping production on a lot of their physical stuff. It's very sad. And, rental stores completely gone. No video rental stores anymore. RIP Blockbuster. But then also, like, retail stores, no more DVDs. Your local Target doesn't have a DVD section anymore. Your local Best Buy probably doesn't.
And what's crazy is that's very recent. Because I went back and I listened to the last episode we did about this when you were here 2 years ago. And I talked about on that episode, like, oh my gosh, I have, like, our Target doesn't have much, but they have, like, one little floating island that still has DVDs. Our Target doesn't sell DVDs anymore.
No, mine doesn't either.
Like, they're gone. It was replaced with books and vinyls. Which, here's the thing. That's fine. That's still physical media in a sense. But also, like, 90% of it is the book talk smut books. So, like, that doesn't provide any value to the world. Yeah. And the vinyls are all, like, fully stocked on shelves. What there is still plenty of, though, is CDs. I didn't know people still bought CDs
love
brand
CDs,
new.
Man. People love
that's
CDs.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, if my car had a CD player, I would probably get a couple.
My car doesn't have a disc
My car
drive.
doesn't. It doesn't.
That was weird because I had to get a new phone mount because my old phone mount was like you inserted it into the disc drive. And it stuck. This car doesn't have one.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I was like, dude,
so
that's
it's like
weird.
We're not even like adapted to that kind of life anymore. Like, it's so ridiculous. So it's just kind of like, and I was about to say that, I was like, we watched DVDs leave stores in real time. Like, that was the largest, I would say that was the largest film industry shift that our generation has watched, was the removal of the physical and going into the digital. This is like our legacy. Now, there is hope because the physical media is not dead. It's just more niche. And it's interesting because now no one argues that physical media is more convenient. No one is saying that, it's just more convenient to own all my movies on Blu-ray, and it's not.
I mean, it kind of is, though. In a
it is,
sense,
and it's not.
Because when you think about the convenience argument with physical versus digital, it's because I'll talk about this when we talk about games. It's like, I don't want to get up and
change the disc
or get the case or whatever. And like, from that standpoint, digital is more convenient, but also owning your own stuff is also convenient in the sense of like you pay for it once and like you never have to pay for it again.
Right.
It's not like Disney Plus where you're paying this constant like monthly or yearly fee to like watch all your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it has its ups and downs, and I'll talk about that when we get to the gaming stuff because I kind of dive into the difference because I do want to have that conversation of like, I don't think digital media is evil.
Right.
But there's a more nuanced conversation to have there.
Right. And I think that the convenience that I refer to when I say that is more of that argument of I don't want to manage it. Like if it's not taking up all this room on my shelf and I don't have to like hot swap all these things. And I get that, but what you're losing is so big for that little bit of effort. And I would argue that little bit of effort makes it magical. Like it makes it special. Makes it an important event. It's not just like, I don't know, whatever, let's turn on a movie. It's like, hold on, what are we watching tonight? Like, let's go through the catalog. And interestingly enough, Blu-ray sales in 2025 saw a 12% increase from the last decade before.
Wow.
So basically, people are going back to physical. Slowly but surely, it is a niche group of people that is doing this. Basically, as long as they exist, we will still be buying them. People will always need it. Someone will always have, an old van with a DVD player, and you can go to your local thrift store and buy 10 movies. Or honestly, some of the goats of physical media, Walmart.
True.
Walmart always has movies and DVDs. Maybe they just don't. Maybe no one told them that's possible. But also Barnes and Noble. Crazy good physical media.
Their prices are a
little steep. Also, your local thrift store. Like, there's great movies and stuff there that you can always get. So, anyway, basically, as long as they exist, we will buy them. But if we cut production altogether, we might be cooked. So, that being said, there's been a lot of gaming news.
Before we switch to gaming, though, there's one thing that I want to note.
Okay.
That I didn't see in your notes is as of September 1st, 2026. Sony
I did forget about this.
Over 550 purchased movies and TV shows from PlayStation users' digital libraries. And that is because, what do they say? They're end of a content licensing agreement. They're just taking all of those away with no mention of refunds or compensation for removing those movies. So those aren't like, I rented this movie once and the icon lingered in my library. This is, I bought, one of the examples in this article is Terminator 2. Like, I bought Terminator 2 from the PlayStation Digital Store as a digital movie to add to my collection to watch whenever I want. And now, we don't have the license for it anymore, so it's just getting taken off of the digital storefront. And you don't own that movie. You own a license to watch it whenever we say that you can watch it.
And we don't have that anymore.
And we don't have that license, so you can't watch it anymore, and we're not going to refund you, which is something similar to what happened that I talked about in our last digital media episode. Was like when Funimation and Crunchyroll merged, there were, like, I had digital copies of the first two My Hero movies and one of the Dragon Ball movies, and those are just gone now.
Yeah.
Because the Funimation platform doesn't exist anymore. And granted, those were digital codes that came with my physical copy.
Right.
But even then, like, I still paid for that. Like, I still paid for that digital copy that was included with the physical copy that I bought. And you could buy it digitally straight through their site. So it's not like, you couldn't skip the physical if you wanted to.
Right.
So I don't know. I think that's the fear that I think a lot of pro-physical people like us have. And I think the digital-only people are starting to kind of get clued into that. Because
you can talk about it all you want, but until it happens, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
And it's kind of happening now.
And that's what I was going to say is, like, the pro-digital people were like, well, that's not going to happen. Like, Sony would never do that. Like, that's not going to happen. And
because realistically, it shouldn't.
Right. Like, it should. Like, you should have lifetime licenses if you're going to be selling these products 24/7
Right.
on your digital store. Like, you should not, like, this should not be a problem.
Right.
But that's also why so many streaming services are so interesting and why their catalogs always change, because Netflix only got a 4-year license for Friends, and then
Right.
the cost to renew the license was not worth the marketing they were getting from Friends. So they lost it, and that's how it ended up on HBO Max. And I'm sure Netflix took a hit when Disney canceled all their contracts to pull everything to Disney Plus,
Right.
which is something that we knew they were doing. Gosh, I remember hearing about them canceling contracts back in 2017. Like, so 2 years before Disney Plus, there was news of like, well, this thing isn't getting renewed, and this thing isn't getting renewed, and this is going to disappear, and you don't have anywhere to watch it.
Yeah.
But Disney's rumored supposedly working on their own Netflix. Like,
yeah.
so I remember going through all that.
And I remember being hyped. Being like, all the Disney stuff in one place? Shoot, dude.
Sounds
that's
good in
awesome.
theory.
And then we're like, what have we done?
Yeah. I also think it's worth mentioning. To your point of, I don't think DVDs are dead, they're just a little more niche, is one of the biggest movies last year, K-pop Demon Hunters, is now getting a physical release because it's being added to the Criterion Collection. Which, like, I have that 4K Steelbook pre-ordered, baby. Then I never have to worry about Netflix taking it away. But I also think there's a lot of people who will buy the Blu-ray through the Criterion because they don't want to pay for Netflix. Like, there were a couple of our, like, loyal listeners who commented on the K-pop episode of, like, well, I'll come back and watch this episode later because I don't want to pay for Netflix because it's not in the budget. But... and we can't justify paying for Netflix for a month when we're only going to watch this one movie.
Right.
Like,
and
so
it's like, oh, that sucks.
For them to just be able to get a Blu-ray and call it a day at like $16 is actually pretty solid. So I have more. I'll get into the gaming side now. Please bear with me. It's going to be a lot of numbers, and I'm going to try to break it down to the best of my ability as we go through here. So I think gaming, if you've been following the news, you'll know between like GTA and PlayStation, you're getting a lot more of the physical media is under attack type news, which is kind of what prompted the episode, more specifically GTA, which is funny because we decided to do this episode last week
before this all happened.
only under the premise that GTA 6 was not going to have a physical release at all.
Right.
And then all this other news kept coming out over the week, and I was like, this is the mandate of heaven.
Yeah.
This is God wants us to talk about this now because all this stuff keeps coming out this week.
Yeah.
So, for a little background, a little history, just so you guys understand where we were and how we got here. Since 2020, digital game sales have surged on each major console, which is being Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. And a lot of that was also due in part to like COVID. It was a lot easier. Like, I bought my copy of Animal Crossing digitally. Sue me. Please don't.
You're horrible.
Because it was like, you can play Animal Crossing on launch day, or you can wait 2 weeks to get the physical copy. It's like, well, all my friends are playing it, so I'm just going to get it digitally.
Right.
Like, and also, just as we continue to go through this, I don't want anyone to leave this episode thinking I'm anti digital media.
Right.
Like, I am not against buying digital games. I have quite a few digital games on my Switch, actually.
Right.
Minecraft being one of them. Like Minecraft, Mario Kart World, Animal Crossing, like Persona 4 Golden. I have digital games, but I prefer physical if possible. So,
and it's also like I have a lot of digital games on my Switch because sometimes the store runs really good sales.
oh, dude, those sales
get you. Like, I have Lego Marvel Superheroes on the Switch because it was on sale for $3. Like, of course I'm gonna get that, and I'm like, yeah, but it's the digital version. It's $3. If they rip it in 10 years, I'm out $3. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, well, that wasn't a big investment.
Well, but it's like, no, that's a good preface. And I'll also say, like, on the movie side, like, I watch movies on streaming. Like,
yeah, me too.
I do.
Like I
have
own
streaming
all of
services.
the physical Star Wars DVDs, but me and Maddie just finished going through the first 6, and we watched them all on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
because it was easier to do the screen share on Disney Plus and like Discord than it was like, oh well, I'm only gonna wait until you're visiting, and then we have to watch all 6. Like,
right.
So streaming is fine. I just I have the disc as a backup, or if we never have Disney Plus again,
or if we're watching a movie that I own physically, I'm gonna put the DVD in. I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off on Blu-ray last week because I had it. That's the movie I wanted to watch, and I have it, so I'm gonna put it in. Anyway, that's the preface.
Yeah. So I kind of went over each percentage change for each console here, and this information might shock you. PlayStation increased their physical digital split from 53% digital in 2020 to 85% digital in 2025, which is crazy.
Wow.
Xbox had the least percentage change, jumping from 75% to 90% over the same period. And then Nintendo also had a change, but nowhere near as drastic, changing from 43% to about 60% between 2020 and 2025. You will see the trend here. In terms of where physical media, in terms of gaming lies, it lies with Nintendo. I know that's a controversial thing to say, and when I was compiling these notes, I tried to keep it as unbiased as possible, despite me being a really big Nintendo fan. But some of looking at it factually for the conversation, Nintendo is in the right here. So when I say that, I don't want you to just say, "Oh, he's just a Nintendo fan who's just gassing up Nintendo."
Right.
Looking objectively at the facts, out of the three, they are doing the best in terms of physical media, but we'll get there. So, the changes on Xbox and PlayStation's end was reinforced by the launch of Xbox Series S, which had no disc drive, as well as the all-digital PS5, which was a big thing. There was the all-digital PS5 in addition to the disc version, and then when the PS5 Slim came out, there was an edition that was also all-digital, and then the PS5 Pro was pretty much all-digital, and you had to buy the disc add-on. There was no separate SKU that had the disc drive included. So, Nintendo is the only current major gaming company on the market without an all-digital system, given that their physical sales still account for about 40% of their sales.
That's
crazy. They
crazy.
just put out new statistics from their shareholder meeting this week that reinforced that they're not really in a position to switch to all-digital because they still have such a massive market share digital.
Right.
Now they're making some moves to try to, I guess, up that digital number. But we'll get there. The outlier in all of this is PC gaming, which has been largely digital for several years, but operates through various storefronts. Think Steam, Epic Games Store, GOG, etc. They also tend to run much better sales and offers. As well as more protections on the digital games, but I'll come back to that later. I kind of want to stay focused on the console stuff for the time being. Across the entire gaming industry, just in the United States, digital jumped from 70% of the market share to 85% of the market share over that 2020 to 2025 period, which is also crazy that they jumped 15% in 5 years.
Jeez.
So digital is often seen as more favorable by both publishers and consumers for a couple reasons. On the publisher side, digital sales result in more revenue since there's no overhead for physical production, shipping, etc. Because, shocker, there is a cost associated with making discs, making cartridges, putting your things in cases, shipping them from the manufacturer to the store, maintaining the storefront. That's a cost on the store's end. So digital sales offer a more direct split, which is why Nintendo tries to push digital, and why all the companies in general try to push digital, but that's why you see incentives of we can run better sales on the eShop because we can drop the price $15 on Breath of the Wild because we're keeping all $45 that are left, instead of if we drop it on the physical, then we have to split that over manufacturing costs. There's not as much profit there. So there's that side of it for the publisher side. I lost my train of thought. But then on the consumer side, digital game sales like the Steam summer and winter sales, which are the most popular, offer much better prices on games than the physical sales that they just can't match because of those manufacturing costs. You talk about getting Lego Marvel Superheroes for $3 on the eShop. They're not going to put the physical cartridge down at $3 at Target.
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
They can't.
Because you'd be losing money at that point.
Right. You mean to tell me they're losing money on Lego Marvel Superheroes?
They might be. Who's to say?
How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?
It's also the convenience of not having to interchange discs or cartridges, which I understand because it has been really nice. My Star Fox copy is physical, but Wind Waker is digital on the NSO app, so it is nice that you can just switch back and forth.
You're like
between the two.
Have to get up.
So I get it. I understand.
Yeah. It's also hard because it depends on your setup. Like if your Switch is really integrated in the thing, it's kind of like I'll say that the Switch keycard is not the easiest thing to get out compared to like an Xbox disc drive.
Dare I tell you it's a little harder on the Switch too?
No!
Because of like they added this little, like it's almost like a little covering or like a sleeve that when you put the cartridge, like the cover back over, this little like metallic aluminum sleeve slides over the top of the game card. So when you're pulling it out, you almost have to like get it at the right angle to get it to come up and then out instead of just pulling it back. It's such a minuscule thing. Like I don't care.
Right.
But it was a weird shift.
It's one of those little things that you're like, yeah, sometimes this annoys me.
Yeah. So much more recently, we've seen more strides towards the all digital future of gaming, with each console maker proceeding differently.
Yeah.
Xbox and Sony are kind of in the same lane, but they're still a little different.
Yeah.
In Xbox's case, this is entirely rumored and not confirmed, but I wouldn't put it past them. They're reportedly working on a technology that would allow you to convert your physical games into digital games, thus removing the necessity for a disc drive on Project Helix, which is their next console, for backwards compatibility, which is already expected not to include a disc drive in the first place. So this would be a, for all those people who are like, well, how am I supposed to play my Xbox 360 games on my new Project Helix? They're like, well, we'll give you this little thing. You can, put your disc in, it'll scan it, make sure that's the right license and all that, and then boom, puts it in your library.
And that external disc drive is only an extra $800.
Yes, it only costs as much as the console itself.
Yeah,
and you cannot attach it to the disc drive to the console to just play the disc. No, that would make too much sense.
No. Should we have external disc drive? Next question.
No, next question. It is uncertain of how that would affect the disc itself or the contents of it for any future physical preservation. So we don't know if that's going to put some kind of marking on the disc.
Nuke the disc.
Yeah, that like it extracts the data and then just nukes the disc so it can never be used again, which would make sense because that's how you combat like piracy and like distribution of ROMs and stuff.
But that's also like game share perhaps.
Yeah, like maybe make better options.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Fascinating.
The guy who runs Steam, I need to find the exact quote because it's actually a really good quote and I kind of agree with it. Sorry, I can't see anything because these glasses are not prescription.
Just put your glasses on.
No, I like the vibe of the sunglasses. It's so good. Okay, he said, and I'm squinting under the glasses and you can't tell. The easiest way to stop piracy is not by putting anti-piracy technology to work. It's by giving those people a service that's better than what they're receiving from the pirates. Which, I mean, low-key, kind of cooking. Like, that's true. Which, as you see... And this is not on the notes, and this made me think of that. Nintendo put Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green on Switch on the eShop exclusively as a digital game. Sold 4.5 million copies in 2 months because people are desperate and they want to play old Pokemon games. And they're like, if you make them available, we'll pay you for them. That's been the thing with Nintendo for years. So like, we want to play your old games. We don't want to pirate them. You should let us buy them. And now that they did, it's like, So hopefully that was a sign to Nintendo and the Pokemon company of like, hey, you want people to stop pirating your games?
Ding, ding,
want people
ding,
to stop
ding,
emulating
ding.
them? Throw them on the eShop. $20 a pop.
Make them
Nobody
accessible.
was upset about paying $20 for Pokemon Fire Red. It's actually pretty affordable. In today's gaming market,
$20?
$20 for a game that I know for sure that I'm going to enjoy as an old Pokemon fan? Much better than $80 on a GTA 6 that I haven't seen any gameplay for. I'll come back to that.
Oh, you got him good.
Anyway. In PlayStation's case, they recently announced, and this is the one that's getting memed everywhere, and you love to see it.
I love to see it.
Quote, in response to shifting trends in consumer preference, they'll be ending disc production in January 2028 for new games released on PlayStation. This follows the assumption/expectation that the PS6 won't include any form of disk drive, not even as an add-on. Which means PlayStation is either going to say, sucks to suck, you can't play your PS4 and PS5 games on PS6, or they will also have some kind of conversion for your physical games into digital games.
So here's my thing. I can't play both of the originals from the PS5 on the PS6. I need to get new versions of both of the originals that they made for that console.
Yes, that's what they've been doing with Last of Us. There's the Last of Us PS4 edition and the Last of Us PS5 edition. Which, I mean, to be fair, Nintendo did that with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so I'm not going to act like they don't do it.
Right.
But it's not as egregious.
But I hate the idea of digitizing your physical stuff because I need to see the terms and conditions on that
I need someone to read me the TOS before I sign up for this.
Because if you're do you know how much waste you're creating?
Yes, a
by
lot,
nuking,
actually.
And here's an interesting thought that I don't think anyone's brought up yet is, you know how complicated that gets for game exchange stores if you start bringing in discs that are nuked?
Yeah, that's a way to kill the
That's how you kill the resale market. Because now they have to test every single disc if it actually still has the game on it.
Which means, like, going to GameStop, they can no longer just, like, give you trade credit same day. Like, they would have to, like, if you bring them, 20 games, they have to test every single one of them, make sure they run, make sure they work. And then you come back and they call you with, like, here's your trade credit. We can't take these because you tried to pawn us off the nuked discs.
Right.
It's
Which
also
is
worth noting, like, if I convert my physical game into a digital game, is it now just, like, a license that I don't own anymore?
Right.
Like, what protections are you putting in place to prevent my games from getting delisted like these movies that you're removing?
Right.
Like, so that's the PlayStation side. The Nintendo side is a little long because I had to side tangent and do an explanation just so that we're all on the same page. Because I'm really tired of the misinformation. So I was like, let's clear it up right now.
All right, I'm listening.
So, in Nintendo's case, there are two-ish things they did. One of them, both changes came with the Switch too. But one of them is game key cards, which is everyone's favorite buzzword. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, game key cards are the end of physical. Like, they're going to kill physical, blah, 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 blah. So, for those who are uninitiated or are still peddling misinformation, let's talk about what game key cards actually are. And if you think I'm biased or pulling this as a Nintendo fan, this is all information that I have pulled directly from the Nintendo support website on game key cards. So, game key cards function very similarly to Xbox and PlayStation discs, where you have to install the game before playing it, which is
been pretty standardized.
One of the downfalls of the game key cards is, like, that was the great thing about Switch, is you could just plug and play and all your games were there, and it was like, I'll buy it on Switch because I can just plug and play. It doesn't take any storage. So I get that part of it. I get. The main difference is between game key cards and Xbox and PlayStation discs is game key cards have no actual data on the cartridge. The Xbox and PlayStation discs act as an install. So they have the game data on there, but you need to install it onto your console to then play it.
Right.
The game key cards have nothing. It's just a little license key that when you plug it in, it tells the Switch, you need to download this game via the internet. It's not even connected to the eShop. Like, it's not like it opens up an eShop tab and then pulls it from there. It's, you plug it in, it pops up a little pop-up and is like, this is a game key card. Would you like to download? Do you have all the free space? And you do it. I know because I've done it a couple times.
Right.
Now, and you do have to download the game via internet, which, side tangent to the side tangent, if anybody tells you that it's like, it's so evil that you have to get connected to the internet to download your game. Might I say, if you are buying a $500 console in 2026 and you don't have internet, maybe you shouldn't be buying a $500 console. I don't know if that's a controversial take or an opinion, but also, like, so many places have free Wi-Fi. Go sit at Starbucks. Go sit at your local library. Like, places have free Wi-Fi, even if you don't and you need to go do the download.
Right.
So there's options. Anyway.
Right.
Once installed, the game key card is virtually the same as a physical cartridge, needing to be inserted into the console to play the game. So when I was playing Final Fantasy, the game key card still had to be in there for me to open the game, because even though it's downloaded on my console, it needs to know, like, oh, hey,
I'm allowed to play
I'm still allowed to play this.
Yeah.
Nintendo has stated in investor meetings that game key cards were primarily requested by third-party companies as a way to put their games on Switch 2 without needing to pay a higher cost for full cartridges. Game key cards also give them better read and write speeds because they're downloaded directly onto the console, and cartridges are a little limited in what they can and can't do in some of these more higher-end third-party games. Think Pragmata, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil 9. Because of how advanced they are, the read-write speeds of the cartridges are just not fast enough for them to hit the targets that they want to hit. But then Nintendo also stated that they have no intention of putting their own first-party games onto game key cards, and this has rung true so far. The only one that you could make an arguable case for is Pokemon Pokopia, but even then, that was developed by a third-party studio using a Nintendo IP. I don't understand why they did that, though, because...
Yeah, that's odd.
Pokopia was made by Koei Tecmo, and they put that game on a game key card. Koei Tecmo also made, 4 months before that, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which was fully on a game cartridge. So I'm not sure what their discrepancy there was. Yeah. I don't know if the Pokemon company was like, hey, we can get a little more overhead here. Which is probably the correct answer, is they just wanted a little more overhead.
Which is so
anyway.
funny because you could complain about, well, I don't like game key cards, it requires Wi-Fi, it does this, it's whatever. When I'm just like, you have to think about, do you know how hard it is to make a handheld console, a completely self-contained console as powerful as the Switch 2?
Yep.
The Switch 2 has crazy stats for a handheld console.
That thing is a marvel of engineering, as the Switch was.
Yes.
When it came out.
So to have that amount of power in such a condensed form, you have to understand that power has to come from somewhere. And it can't just simply hold Final Fantasy on a game like a cartridge. It simply is impossible. It's not how that works, especially with RAM prices and all these things. Like, it's literally impossible to hold that much space on such a small card.
And the RAM prices is why all of the other consoles are so expensive.
Yeah.
Nintendo's lucky, and they're eking out with just a $50 price increase, which they might still be losing money on that, but that may be more because of the tariffs than like the RAM stuff. But you see how the RAM and the tariffs as a double whammy have affected PlayStation and Xbox. Xbox has done like 2 price increases this year, and Sony has done like 2 in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, the tariffs hit. And then right after the tariffs hit, all of the RAM disappeared for all of the AI stuff. Mm-hmm. So now they have to increase again because, well, they got to cover the cost of manufacturing. And they were already selling these consoles at a loss. So it's like, ooh, this just isn't good for us. And they just announced the Steam machine.
It's not a buyer's market.
The Steam machine for both models is over $1,000. And at that point, you might as well get a PC. I was talking to one of my friends about this. Is Xbox and PlayStation are playing a dangerous game putting their consoles this high because most of the games, not all, go to PC anyway. So if I'm going to pay $1,000+ for an Xbox Project Helix or a PS6 or a Steam machine, at what point do I just go get a pre-built PC or try to build my own? And now I have all of this freedom of like, well, I can get games from Steam, I can get games from the Epic Game Store, like. So why wouldn't I just do that? Which I think puts Nintendo in a pretty decent spot because they're roughly half the price of those, and like they still get games. They have their own first-party games, so I think they'll be okay so long as.
And you pay for those quirks. Like if you're not a Nintendo gamer, you're probably not gonna get a Switch 2 because it's so hyper specialized.
Right.
But that's the thing they're trying to break out of by giving you these external games. They just haven't had a console powerful enough to do it yet.
They're trying to break into that market, and like
Because if they did that, it'd be over.
Dude, there's a rumor out there that they're working on bringing GTA 6 to the Switch too.
That's insane.
Which would make it the cheapest way to play GTA 6.
Golly.
Aside from the Series S.
Right.
Because the Series S is also $500. But that would also be the only physical version. Because it would definitely be a game key card.
Right.
But it would be the only physical version of that game. But I'll come back to GTA. I'm not done harping on GTA.
BRB.
You thought I was out? No. To wrap up game key cards, even though they are a download license for a digital game, they can still be traded, resold, and collected the same as a physical game cartridge. So if you wanted to play Final Fantasy, I could put that sucker back in the case, hand it to you, and now that is the same as me handing you a copy of Star Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to download it on your system, but they don't... The licenses are not linked to the system, they're linked to the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you wanted to do it, any of my other friends who have Switch 2s wanted to do it, I could give it to 10 people, and they can all download it, and then we can all share the same cartridge, just like we would a normal physical game.
Right.
So it's a nice intermediary between full digital and full physical, because it still gives that collecting, tradable, sharing aspect of physical with, I don't even want to say the convenience of digital, because you still have to have it plugged into the cartridge slot.
But with the performance capabilities of digital.
Yes. So, the other thing Nintendo did is they are the first of the big three gaming companies, to my knowledge, that I'm aware of, to implement cheaper price for the digital version of their games. For example, Star Fox, if you want to get it brand new physical, is $60. But if you go on the eShop, it's only $50. Same for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, which is $80 physical and $70 on the eShop, meaning it does feel like you're now paying for that cost of the physical, although Walmart and Amazon have been very good about price matching the physical price during the pre-order period. So, I only paid $50 for Star Fox, and there's a couple others that, I got in on that pre-order window, and I got that $10 cheaper price. Which is interesting, and that I feel like that's pushing us towards the digital future, because it's not only is it more convenient, it's also cheaper. But also, that's something that should have been done 10 years ago.
Right.
Because you're not paying the cost of the manufacturing, so the digital game should have always been cheaper.
Right.
Because it's literally just going up on your store.
Right.
Needless to say.
Right.
Now, the icing on the cake for this all digital future of gaming was the biggest one we've experienced so far, and I'm sure you know. GTA 6, commonly referred to as the biggest entertainment launch of all time, will be an exclusively digital game. The quote-unquote physical edition of the game, split between an $80 standard edition and a $100 ultimate edition, which does, side tangent, lock a couple key features out of the standard edition, such as car modifications, tattoo shops, that kind of stuff. You're just gonna have to pay $100 to get that. You're gonna have to pay the extra $20 if you want it. As well as, I think you may have to pay separately for GTA Online, which is interesting. I don't know about that one. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I may be wrong. I'm not a GTA head. But this game the physical edition will feature no disc, and will simply be a code in the box, with confirmation from Rockstar that they have no future plans to produce a disc version at all. It circulated around for about a couple days that they were planning on doing a physical disc after launch because they wanted to minimize leaks, but then that was debunked as based on speculation and based on a feeling, not actually what Rockstar had plans to do, and then they came out and clarified that no, we're not doing that. So it's all digital.
Wow.
People are also buying scalped versions of these physical editions on eBay for upwards of $130. I'm sorry, you people are stupid. This is a digital game. This is a code in the box. It is not going to sell out. This is why I don't pre-order games digitally. If I wanted to pre-order a digital game, I might as well just wait till it comes out. Right. It's infinite stock. It's not going anywhere.
So here's my question. Do you think that the demand was so high that they just were we can't financially produce that many physical games?
No. I think it's intentional.
Because my question is, how much of that player base was going to buy the physical version?
I mean, I think a pretty substantial amount.
You think 30, 40%?
Would, yeah. I mean,
just because
it kind of depends on what platform, because here's the thing. GTA 6 isn't coming to PC at launch either.
Right.
It's just Xbox and PlayStation, which is so interesting that like you're skipping the PC market for launch,
Right.
even though like they're probably going to be your most consistent player. But okay, whatever.
Okay.
But also, I think they can justify the all digital launch because like think about the numbers we just went over for PlayStation and Xbox. Like upwards of 80% of their players are all digital anyway. So between the two,
sense.
maybe you're looking at 40% who would buy physical, maybe.
That's
but even
high.
then,
that's high.
That's not
But
worth
also,
it.
but also understand, the reportings for GTA 6 are saying this game is going to cost almost $2 billion. $2 billion with a B.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
And you know what's crazy is I think this game is too big to fail.
What do you mean by that?
Here's the thing. As much as people online will complain about not having a physical and it being $80, you have to...
It's going to be like, what are you going to do, not play it?
In the context of this is an online bubble. Like, this is what happened last year was like, everyone was like, oh, the Switch 2 is too expensive. Mario Kart's not $80, blah, 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 blah. But then, like, the Switch 2 finished its first year as the second fastest selling console of all time. Like, it sold over 20 million consoles in a year. Like, like the online sphere can say, oh, it's too expensive. Nintendo dropped the ball. I'm never buying a Switch 2. Well, clearly the general audience doesn't care about that.
Right.
Because they're not terminally online like the rest of us.
Right.
So I think the same thing is going to apply with GTA 6 is...
we can make a big fuss about it, but it's not going to...
Yeah.
It's not going to make a difference. Because...
And I've seen tweets that are like GameStop employees being like, oh, I told people the physical's a code in a box and they walked away and didn't pre-order it. It's like, yeah, but what are the odds they're just going home to pre-order it on their PlayStation?
Right.
Like, because, you know, if the code in the box is just going to get me like, well, I got to wait for shipping. And because there are people taking time off work for this. Like, there are people who have planned the birth of their children around the launch of GTA 6 so that they can be on paternity leave. There's a couple that just signed a legally binding agreement that this guy's wife can't walk in front of the TV or interrupt him while he's playing GTA 6, which is crazy.
Stupid.
But, like...
It's ridiculous. But,
if you're that person, and it's like my option is I can wait for Amazon to deliver me a code in the box, you know, at 4:00 on launch day, or I can just get it digitally on my PlayStation and it's there at midnight. I'm going to go with the digital that's there at midnight.
Well, that's my other thing is I'm like, okay, the person that walks out of the GameStop, they are going to be like, gosh, I hate that. I really wanted the physical. And maybe they don't play launch. 2 days later, they're like, gosh, everyone's playing launch. And I'm not.
And that's what I mean when I say
all
it's
the
too
stuff
big
is
to
coming
fail.
out about it. Like, I know I wanted the physical, but this is my only option.
Which sucks because, like, I kind of want GTA 6 to fail on multiple fronts.
In, like, a weird way, yeah.
The budget, if it really is a $2 billion game, gaming is running into the same problem that the movie industry is, where games cost way too much. Why? Everybody wonders why Nintendo is so successful. It's because they usually don't spend more than $100 million on a game.
Right.
And when they do, it's the exceptions, like your Mario Odyssey, your Breath of the Wild, your Tears of the Kingdom, like these big games that they know are going to sell to make that money back. But then you get your Xenoblades, which are like a couple million, and like, you know, your Kirby's a couple million, and then, you know, they make their budgets back and it's okay. But if they don't, it's not like you sunk $1 billion into Xenoblade Genesis.
Right.
You're like, oh, well, it only made me $20. Ugh.
Right. And
well, I'm never making another Xenoblade game again.
No. Yeah.
So
I think there is I don't think there's a world where it fails. And I think that's what's dangerous is they made this decision because they knew that it wouldn't matter.
And it's interesting.
It's not going to make a dent.
The GTA 6 news about them not having a disc came out a week, almost to the day, before PlayStation announced that they're not doing discs anymore. It feels very
connected.
Coordinated and connected in the sense of like, well, we're ripping off the Band-Aid with GTA, and then while the Band-Aid's ripped off, we're just going to squeeze some lemon juice in your wound. And there is no Band-Aid to come back on it. So this is just how it is now. So I think it's really easy to get doomy and gloomy about that. But in a string of good news, to kind of bring it back around here, Nintendo seems to be showing no sign of switching to all digital for their games in the future, despite Switch and Switch 2 cartridges costing more on average than a PS5 disc. Article came out this week that said PlayStation discs cost about $6 a piece to manufacture. Switch cartridges, just like Switch 1 cartridges, are somewhere between $12 and $15.
Wow.
With Switch 2 cartridges being more expensive than that. So
you're making an $80 game and a $6 disc.
You're not even putting it on a disc. Like, you can eat that overhead, bro. You're gonna charge me $100 for GTA 6?
For a $5 disc?
What's $94 still?
Come on.
So, not to mention,
greedy.
more third-party publishers are taking note of seeing better sales on Switch 2 when the games are fully physical. Oblivion Remastered was announced this week, is fully on the cartridge, sold out on Amazon.
Wow.
In 2 days. Orbitals, which is another like third party. I don't know if it's an indie game per se, but it's in the same vein as like It Takes Two, Split Fiction, like those co-op games. I have it pre-ordered. I'm very excited. Maddie and I are going to play it because it has like a retro 90s anime style. It's pretty sick. But they're also fully physical and they're marketing it that way. And they're seeing better sales because of it, because people do still want physical games. And honestly, hey, Asha, what's her name? Asha Sharma? Is that? No. I'm thinking of the Christian comedian you were telling me about yesterday.
What? Oh,
I need to know, what is her name? Oh, no, Asha Sharma. I was right. The CEO of Xbox. Hey, listen, if you somehow found our little rinky-dinky podcast here, let me tell you, you want to turn the Xbox brand around real quick? Don't do what Sony's doing.
Go all physical.
Go all in. Full send it.
All in physical.
Xbox needs to do something drastic at this point, or they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
Like, which they did this Xbox Games Showcase, and they were like, yeah, we're going exclusives on Xbox. Yeah. We're trying to get out of our contract with Sony so that we don't have to give them Halo. And then, like, 2 days later, they were like, okay, so I know we said Gears of War was going to be Xbox exclusive, but, like, financially, it needs to go to PlayStation because it's not going to make the money. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Go all physical, full send on the physical disc. That is the best thing Xbox could do for themselves right now, is to full send. But the problem is Xbox is so ingrained and tied into their cloud gaming and Game Pass that, like, I don't think they will.
Dude, Game Pass is a virus.
It is so true.
It is a cancer. Like,
dude, Phil Spencer killed Xbox with Game Pass, and it's not even funny. Anyway, to kind of bring everything around here, as mentioned earlier, PC gaming is an outlier and more of an exception, which is why most gamers are more okay with PC being all digital. Now, I'm not a PC gamer. I've never been a PC bro. PC bros actually kind of annoy me, but they're annoying because they're like, just get a PC. Just get a PC. I'm like, no. I don't game enough to justify spending $1,200 on a PC. Anyway, I did ask a couple of people who do play on PC, just to get a more well-rounded conversation for this episode, why they're okay with an all-digital gaming future in PC specifically. Right. Because PC
shout
has
out
been,
CD-ROM games.
True. PC has been pretty physical since, like, what, maybe 2008?
Yeah.
Like,
or pretty digital.
Digital, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So the consensus that I got from these lovely people is, in the case of Steam, they have much better business practices on digital games that they sell, including game refunds and family sharing, plus the aforementioned Steam summer and winter sales, which bring the prices down and make them significantly cheaper. So in the case of, like, when Helldivers 2, when Sony came in and said that, well, you need a PlayStation account to play Helldivers 2, and a bunch of people didn't want to do that, Steam offered them refunds, which you would probably never see on one of the big three consoles. Like, Nintendo's not going to give you a refund on a game. They don't want to give you that money back. Xbox isn't going to do that. No. Sony's definitely not going to do that. Come on now.
They're not going to give you the thing you even bought.
If you berate the customer service enough, they probably will.
Yeah.
But no one wants to do that.
If you fight with the AI customer service long
if you fight with the AI customer service to finally get to a real person, you could.
Yeah.
PC also has the benefit of not being a closed ecosystem in the same way Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo are, which this was an interesting one that I learned was... on PC, you can buy games from Steam, the Epic Games Store, GOG, and many of these storefronts allow you to install the games indefinitely, even if they're no longer available on the store, which makes it feel much more like the same ownership you'd have with a physical game. So, and for those maybe who don't understand what a closed ecosystem is, like you can only buy Nintendo games from the eShop, you can only buy Sony games from the PlayStation Store, Xbox from the Xbox Store, like that's how you buy their games. Now, yeah, you can buy a digital code on Amazon, but like it only works on the Switch.
Right.
You know, like,
come on.
So it's a closed ecosystem in the sense that only their games work on their consoles, which is how first-party exclusivity works. I think exclusives, some people are like, exclusives are anti-consumer. No.
Yeah, no.
You know, it drives competition. That's how capitalism works. Exclusives are fine. That's what sells a console. You buy a Nintendo because you want to play Zelda. You buy an Xbox because...
I don't know why you buy an Xbox.
You buy Xbox because you want something to... Well,
you want to play Forza. You want to play Halo. You want to play Forza.
On PlayStation now.
You want to... Well...
Yeah, Halo's on PlayStation.
Yeah, but
now.
Back in the day...
You buy an Xbox because somebody gave it to you, so it's not even that you really bought it. And you buy PlayStation because you want to play Wolverine.
Listen, I found have my Xbox because it was in the ceiling of my freshman year dorm room. And
that's
the guys
crazy.
that lived there before said, we left something in there. And that's the Xbox I've been playing.
You know what's so sad? It's like, this is off topic, kind of. It's really sad to see the degradation of Xbox over the last 10 years. Because I remember, like, when I got my Xbox One S, like, Forza was exclusive, Halo was exclusive. Yep. Like, they had exclusives. And now it's like, well, I can play Halo on PlayStation. Well, I can play Forza on PlayStation. I can play Gears of War on PlayStation.
Yeah. Yikes.
So what exclusives do you have? I can play... Doom is Bethesda, but that's... also on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Fallout. Nope. Fallout's on all the.
Still
so
Bethesda.
So what? Like you bought all these companies. Call of Duty is going to be on Switch too.
Right.
Like, so what? What do you have? You got nothing. No wonder nobody's buying an Xbox. It doesn't make sense.
You know what they have? A competent controller. Thank you very much. You hand me a PS5 controller and I freeze. I don't understand. I can't do it. Call me old.
3 controllers. All right. PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Fight, flight, or freeze. Which one is which?
Fight, flight, or freeze?
Yeah, you said PlayStation's freeze, so which one's fight or flight?
So I freeze on a PlayStation. I will fight on a Xbox controller because I feel like their movement is really smooth and I can get that. Flight on a flight on a Joy-Con. Because that's what the sticks do after a month is they flight.
That's so true. I think mine would be I'd freeze on PlayStation. I would fight on Switch too. That Pro controller is incredible. And I would flight on Xbox. Because Xbox is fine, but it's a little chunky.
Dude, the Xbox 360 controllers were so vibey though. They were just, they were like, if you look up a clip art of a video game controller, it's probably based on the Xbox 360. It was just the blueprint of video game controller.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
One more thing I want to mention about gaming before I kind of transition to our conclusion here.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to fully research this, but it is something that I thought was worth mentioning, and I think everyone should definitely look into, is Stop Killing Games, which is legislation, or it's an organization that is pushing for legislation to prevent these gaming companies from permanently removing games that people have paid for. So think of the massive online multiplayer games like Concord and Highguard that, you know, people paid for those games, but then because they weren't successful, the servers got shut down and now you can't play Concord, you can't play Highguard. Like, regardless of the quality of the game and why or why not it failed, but like still as a principle, they shouldn't be able to shut down a game that you paid for even a physical copy of. Like, people still have their discs for Concord, and if you plug them into the PS5, it doesn't do anything. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be able to nuke our product that we paid for.
Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. So they're working on getting legislation passed, and I've seen they're going through proceedings in the US and the UK, I believe. Or I think it's just the UK right now. And maybe they got something passed in California. I don't know. I don't really keep up with it. I just kind of see it in passing. But that brings me into the transition here is that I don't think, and what I don't want people to walk away from this episode with is that digital media is not itself inherently evil.
Right.
There's not anything wrong with digital media. There's nothing wrong with digital movies. There's nothing wrong with streaming. But those digital things need the same ownership protections as physical media. And I think that's what people are really pushing for in 2026 as we go like into this like no physical copy of GTA 6. Like that opens the door to, well, what if Rockstar decides 10 years from now they actually hate GTA 6 and they don't want you to be able to play it before GTA 7? And now all of these copies are not, they're not backed up. They have no physical backing of, well, yeah, you delisted all the digitals, but I have a disc, you silly Billy, and now I can still play GTA 6.
Right.
So I think that's where the conversation is shifting, and that's where it should shift, is I don't think... because digital media has its own conveniences of like,
yeah,
you know, you don't have to get up and swap the discs. It's all there. It's all installed. That's great. But there does need to be some kind of legal binding that these companies can't just rip things that you've paid for away. Because if you think about like, I got a copy of Breath of the Wild back there on cartridge. Well, the case is back there, but the cartridge is over there. Anyway, my copy of Breath of the Wild back there, all physical cartridge. If Nintendo wants that back, if Shigeru Miyamoto decides that he wants every copy of Breath of the Wild back, you're going to be tracking down at least 15 million people.
Yeah.
To get those cartridges back.
It's done product.
And they're not going to do that. That's out the door.
Yeah.
Like, so
my question, no, I'd also like to clarify, this has pretty much nothing to do with indie games. Because indie games
are actually pretty good about giving you, like, they don't care. You want to download the ROM and store it on your computer?
Go for it.
Great, go for it. More power to you.
Because indie games can't pay for physical releases. They don't have wide release. There's not a clear wide physical release strategy anymore.
Right.
It's not like you could be in every GameStop in the world. Like, that's just not feasible. And so the Steam store and Epic Games and like even games like Fall Guys and Among Us and like some of these huge titles now that started on these stores, those are great things. That having that open internet store gives indie games so much more opportunity to be something and maybe someday be a physical release. But that's the point, is digital ownership needs to get itself straightened out so that if someday that gets bought by a big company that says, actually, we don't want to support that anymore, die.
Right,
you
like
can't do that
what
anymore.
if theoretically Rockstar gets bought out by Sony? I don't think it would ever happen, but like just as a hypothetical, and Sony decides every Rockstar game is getting pulled from digital on Xbox, like just the Xbox versions, because they want Rockstar to be exclusively PlayStation now.
Yeah,
like that's a lot of digital games that are just gone.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of people that just spend $80 on a game that they don't own anymore.
Yeah, and
that's
even
dangerous.
Even on the indie side of things, like, I think about Hollow Knight Silksong as a $20 game.
Yeah.
Right? If the Switch 1 cartridge costs between $12 and $15 of your $20 game, and the Switch 2 cartridge is more expensive, you're taking a loss on every physical sale you make. Yeah. So at that point, it's not even worth it to do the physical. So like some games do thrive on that being all digital. Because it makes more sense. It's more overhead. Right. You know, it's more profit for them so that they can go make more games,
It's easier to share. It's easier to what's the one, gosh, that's driving me. This is good. I hate that I don't know. What's that hide and seek game that everyone is playing right now?
That's a great question. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Mecha Chameleon.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of this?
No.
Hold on 1 second. So
I'm also not on Instagram and TikTok, and it wouldn't show up on my Twitter feed.
It is an indie game that was developed by two dudes in Unreal Engine. It's called Mecha Chameleon. It is a multiplayer casual video game developed by Japanese indie developers, released on Windows. I'm trying to find the... on its release day, the game received 20,000 concurrent players on Steam.
Wow.
And by June 15th, it's had 90,000 concurrent players. at its all-time peak was over 340,000 players, making it the 44th most played game in Steam history. This just, indie games like that just get to live on Steam and have beautiful lives. That's super cool. And the game would not have been able to do a physical release in 2026. It's just not possible. So I think that the future, what I'll say the digital future is good at, similar to how YouTube is breeding really good film directors right now, is how it's making us really cool indie stuff. And it's making that available to people. But then these huge companies get to take advantage of those privileges. And that shouldn't be allowed. And we just honestly haven't been around long enough to have lawmakers in on this.
Yeah, it's kind of like AI.
Right.
Where it's like, it's such a new thing.
That
It
we
also
don't know how
doesn't
to
help
regulate
that
it yet.
all of our politicians are like over 60.
Yeah.
They're like, what that Sony Nintendo
Like,
thing?
well, when
What
I had
the
a
heck is
Game
that?
Boy, you didn't worry about it.
When I played an Atari in the arcade. It's like, okay, buddy, we're on the PlayStation 5 Pro, Nintendo Switch 2, and Xbox Series Gahongadango Boga. Whatever they decide to call it.
Can I just say the Project Hail Mary from Xbox was really good.
I mean, every video game is basically a movie at this point, if
No,
it's made by a
literally.
AAA company. There was a really interesting statistic at the start of Summer Games Fest that from January 1st, there's been 9,400 games published on Steam
Holy freak, dude.
alone. Just Steam. That's not even
Just
like
Steam.
including the Xbox, Sony, and Nintendo. 9,400.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of games.
We should make a game.
No.
It can't be that hard.
Well, I will let AI write the entire code for my game. Claude code, anybody?
Time to vibe code the worst game you've ever played and sell it for $8.
No, we're selling it for 80. No, you know what? We're going to pull the GTA.
Dude,
we're going to do
the
it.
only thing that could nuke GTA 6 is if they put AI.
Maybe that's why they haven't shown gameplay, is because they've been using AI.
They're
They're like,
GTA 6 is all AI generated.
I want to talk about that for just a second before we head
We're
out
wrapping
here.
up. Yeah.
I think it's absolutely insane. And I've seen some people try to justify and defend it, which, rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's an opinion on the internet. GTA 6 has shown like 30 seconds of gameplay, and now they're asking you for $80. Max of 100.
You kind of just have to trust the process.
You have to trust them. And like Rockstar does have a good track
They
record.
have a great track record.
Like, I'm not saying they don't, but it is a little fishy to be like, you couldn't have, like, in a world where everything is radically more expensive, I feel
Right.
like the $80 price tag would have hurt a little less
if we knew
if you
what we
gave
were
us a
getting.
gameplay trailer so we knew what we're looking forward
But maybe
to.
here's the other thing: we're either getting cyberpunked, or
Dude, could you imagine?
can you imagine? Or it's literally, or it's gonna be one of the
It's gonna be
the
game of the year.
cleanest games of the year, or just ever existed. And they're like, no.
There's
We
no in
know-
between.
We know you're gonna love this, so it's either objectively perfect, or it's just the worst thing you've
Unplayable.
ever seen. Unplayable. There's no middle ground.
I know what I'm rooting for.
Unplayable.
I do think it's really funny
No hate, no shade.
that like the main presumption is that the Ocarina of Time remake is coming out in November, and everyone's like, Nintendo, put it on the 19th. Do it. Do it. Put it on the same day as GTA 6.
I love
Do
how I loved that meme where it was like everyone hiding from November releases from GTA 6. It's like Nintendo. It's like the two school buses crashing. It's like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's good. Well, do you have anything else
Well,
you want to add?
I think that is all. We really covered a broad spectrum, but here's the other thing: we want to know what you think.
Thank you for consuming our all digital podcast.
Thank you for consuming our all digital podcast. Someday, the Nerdiest Podcast will be on physical.
If we can get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, we will do a physical
1
DVD release of seasons 1 through 20.
1 through 20. Yikes. Here's the thing about long form: not great for physical.
No,
you gotta like
because the
get
discs
those
don't hold
you
that
get those
much.
huge like.
We'd have to
flip-
compress the episodes to get them to fit
yeah,
on a
no,
Blu-ray
literally.
disc.
Now they're all in 480, but it's every episode.
Some of
Oh,
them are just
gosh.
audio with a PNG.
Right.
So
not even a PNG of us. It's actually a dog. But, you know.
it's like the thank you for watching thing you put on
from
the
our stream. Oh, my gosh. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. If you love what we do here, subscribe on YouTube, follow on all the stuff, all the links down below. We're on YouTube and Instagram. That's the best way you can support us. Or you could become a YouTube member, $5 a month. Biggest shout out to Retro Plaid Guy, Not Zeke Shrine, Andy A, Jessica Carnes, our faithful YouTube members. We love you guys. Help us keep the lights on. We've got a lot of really cool stuff coming for this year. So if you're not following us on Spotify or on Instagram, whatever, you're missing out. Also, you could become an Apple Podcast subscriber as well to get the after show. That is all for today. We want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below wherever you're listening, and we will see you in the next episode. But until then, bye!